Hi, I'm Bunnie Adkins, and I'm doing an informative speech in my Understanding Communications course on listening. Roy Bennet said, "The more you talk about them, the more important they will feel. The more you listen to them, the more important you make them feel." Listening is a vital part of communication, and it can be a powerful tool, whether in the establishing of a friendship or in the deepening of a relationship with someone. When we listen with the intent to understand while the other person is communicating, we are establishing connections, whether short or long term, that can have an impact on the sender as well as the receiver's lives. So, as you hear my speech today, listen with an open heart, and if needed, make any changes to the misconceptions about listening that you might have, and or if needed, change any negative listening habits. These misconceptions and bad habits can leave us with only surface level friendships or relationships. We need to be open to forming good habits while listening so that our current as well as our future friendships and relationships can go to deeper levels. There are some common misconceptions about listening. One, hearing and listening are the same thing. We hear things from the time that we're born. Some sounds we try to block out, traffic, maybe trains going by, just annoying sounds that we just want to block out. Some we listen to or hear, TV, music that we really like. But listening is different. It's different in that when we are communicating with someone, we concentrate, we have eye contact, we show signs of acknowledgement throughout the conversation, and we ask questions to establish a connection. Two, listening is a natural process. It's like breathing, but it's really not. It's not in our natural ability to listen. Listening is like a skill that needs to be used and refined in order for it to have any value. Three, all listeners receive the same message. Any two or three people hearing the same message from the same speaker, or even in a conversation, can take that and receive it in a different way. Our past experiences, family and social backgrounds can all mold, shape, and or taint the way that we listen. We can also fall into wrong listening habits. These habits or ways of listening could have been caused by past experience or relationships, as I previously discussed, and may have even tainted the way that we listen to a conversation. These faulty habits are best described as, what kind of listener are you? A pseudo listener, which means pretend, or false listening, or a selective listening person. A pseudo listener is like a pretender who is showing all the signs of listening, eye contact, body language, the occasional nod, but they have no interest in what the speaker is saying. Whereas the selective listener is listening, but only in the parts of the conversation that they're really interested in. The rest is tuned out. Or you could be an ambushing or stage hogging listener. An ambushing listener is always on the attack, always ready, just waiting to find that one bit of information that they can turn against you in a conversation. Or a stage hogging listener who is also waiting, but waiting for that moment where they can turn the conversation to themselves and basically take over the conversation. And finally, the insensitive or insulated listener. An insensitive listener does not want to go beyond the surface level conversation because they have no desire to understand the meaning of the words or the behavior in the conversation, much like if you were to say, "Hi, how are you doing?" but you're really walking as you're saying it. That could be categorized as insensitive listener. or an insulated listener, one who avoids the subjects that are uncomfortable and that might cause controversy during a conversation. Now that we have looked at some misconceptions about listening and bad habits that one can have while listening during a conversation, let's look at some ways that we can establish some good listening habits. We can form some positive listening skills while having a conversation with others. The following are just a few do's and don'ts that can help you form some good habits. 1. Do concentrate and keep eye contact with the one who's speaking, the one that you're talking to. Do use active listening by showing signs of recognition and are paraphrasing what has been spoken to gain reassurance that you really are listening, like moving in, really listening, like, oh, yes, wow, that really is interesting. Tell me some more. Do be sensitive to the body language or emotion that's being displayed while having a conversation. You know when someone's happy, they're usually smiling, overjoyed, sharing good communication with you, or they could be sad, or they could be angry, have their hands on their hips or their arms folded. We can tell usually what people are saying just usually by their body language. But don't rush to judgment or become defensive. Remember in a conversation that the person is sharing their thoughts, their experiences, their opinions. And once shared, if you do disagree, you can always say in the end, I'm just going to agree to disagree on that subject. And let's remember Luke 6:31 in God's word, the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. In conclusion, we can all become good listeners if we take the time to truly listen with the heart to sincerely get to know and understand the person, whether family or friend, when having a conversation. We can do this by having the knowledge of what not to do while developing the skills of valuable listening. Thank you for listening to me today. Bye.